and you throw the ball, so like everything's like you don't even have to just release right up top. Everything's straight, come right in.
There you go.
But if they're firing this thing from 30 feet away at 100 miles an hour, I mean, the reaction time is incredible.
He's halfway between where a normal batter would stand. So, yeah.
So you probably got to have the sword pretty straight, I imagine, so it doesn't like glance off and like, I don't know.
He's not even wearing a helmet.
Wow, that's very unsafe.
That hurt.
OSHA must not have been there.
No, it was in Japan.
Yeah, they weren't there.
It would have been Josha.
No.
No.
You're really striking. Speaking of hitting baseballs, you're really striking out on jokes today.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're really not setting a very good precedent for the actual stand-up comedian that'll be coming on later.
No, but that'll make him seem all the more
exactly.
funny.
I'm trying to.
You're lowering the bar.
He doesn't need any help, but I'm just making sure.
Yeah, you're just lowering the bar so that will actually be funny later when he's on.
It's like a t-ball game where they get the tee set up and all the kids come up and they just hit the tee. They don't even hit the ball, and then the real player comes up and they just take the tee away and they actually pitch a ball to him. That's I'm just trying to help him out.
Doing a good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing a hell of a job.
I'm glad somebody on this show is doing a good job.
Oh,
you realize that he was supposed to be the badass of the week, and we never actually did the intro for the badass of the week.
That's probably a good thing. I listened to the show last week. It just didn't sound
We didn't harmonize?
No.
I thought you said you didn't listen to the show.
I forgot I
last
listened to the first part of it. Yeah, I did.
Oh, you turned it off after you heard us sing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was... bad.
Well, I'm excited because in 2 weeks, we broadcast here for Lions Den every 2 weeks, but 2 weeks from this show, we're going to be doing the live party, the live radio show at Joe's party at the Reverend Joey T. Estate.
Heck yeah.
Yes, yeah, at the compound.
Yeah, so why don't you promote that while we're, trying to stall for some time.
Promote it. There's going to be some food, and there's going to be, I'm going to get some food. I got this guy at work bringing some new cooker thing he's got over where it actually is meat you put in the middle of this cooker thing, and all the charcoal stuff's on the outside. He's telling me this thing's pretty badass. It takes like 4 hours. I don't know what meat I'm going to throw in there. He's saying like a pork butt, and it turns into like really good pulled pork.
Yeah.
So we might go that route. Definitely going to get some kind of beers. I'm thinking after our talk about the Kirkland beer, we might all be drinking Kirkland.
How do you try it?
You know what I'm saying? We make it a Kirkland party.
I'll bring a what do you call a 48 pack?
A deuce case.
a double?
A double case.
A double?
Can I
double
just call in the host for that show if you're getting the Kirkland beer?
Dude, you look, man, Ben. You're allowed to bring anything you want, man. So you can bring your methamphetamine and anything else you want to the party.
I don't have to bring that. I thought you got that delivered for free.
Well, there's a pile of it. It's like the newspapers in front of my yard. I just kind of chuck them out there in a little bag.
Ben, you're talking trash, but I remember one of our friends complaining about the beer you always brought when you came to his house. And when you left it behind, he had nothing to drink because you left the crap beer behind.
It wasn't just me. It was Joe as well.
And me.
And Jesus and you.
Yeah, but in our defense, there's not like a really suave liquor store on the way from where we were at to this person's house.
You can't find anything.
I know, it's Sefner. I mean, you either get cheap beer.
You know what we should tell him? At least we brought something.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Some people don't.
And it wasn't like I brought it there and left it and then drank his good stuff.
So
they're like, oh, here's a 6-pack of Genesee Cream Ale. Oh, what's that over there on the counter?
Wells Bombardier, I think I shall.
Yeah.
So last night I'm over there hanging out, and he's like,
Did he get his new keg yet?
Well, he hasn't picked it up yet, but he's like, here, why don't you grab a beer? So I go to that fridge that was filled with all of that crappy domestic beer. Nothing. Not a single beer was in the fridge.
Nice.
So we successfully killed all the cheap beer in the fridge.
Finally.
Vanquished cheap beer. But on the party, man, the band's going to play. The International Criminal Gang of Bastards, my band's going to play. We're going to be doing the radio show from there. Hopefully it'll be chilled out because I got a new fire pit that I'm kicking off.
Oh, nice.
It seems very dry out there, so hopefully this is going to. I'm hoping the weather's going to be nice. And
it should be great. It was awesome this week.
I'm thinking so. And yes, and for the ladies out there, you can go inside and take a piss. You don't have to pee in the yard.
Can I pee in the yard?
You have to.
Yes.
Yes, you're not allowed to pee in.
I love peeing in the yard.
Yeah, it's great, man.
Yeah, and last week you told us you love green poop.
No, I didn't. I wanted a Whopper.
You said you like having green poops last week.
I did
not.
Show.
Yes, you did.
No,
I'll go back and you know what? I'm gonna edit that out, and we're gonna make that a soundbite for next week.
Okay. Now I have you saying you like it, so I'm gonna edit that out.
Oh,
make it a soundbite as well.
We just created a green poop paradox.
It is. There's a paradox. It's like.
Well, you know what? We are just trying to appease our Japanese audience.
It's like a fecal butterfly effect.
On that note,
I think it's time for a commercial break.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, all right. Well, when we get back, we've got some. I want to get into. We were discussing this off air last week about just. We talk about craft beer so much, but I want. We've had some interesting conversations and reflections and all this. As much as we promote it, when is enough enough? We'll get into that when we get back. All you guys, stay with us.
Comrades, are you wealthy man like myself, afraid to commit to marriage, fearful you wind up in courtroom next to Heather Mills? You work hard all your life, why you should forfeit half of your rubles if it doesn't work out, huh? A glorious 5-year plan, mail order brides, you will not have to pay arm and leg if marriage crumbles like Soviet Republic. My name is Boris Kuznetsov. I am previous owner of professional KHL hockey team in greatest league in the world. During my time as owner of Dmitrovgrad Dictators, I realized some of business principles found in sports could be applied to love life. In Russian KHL, if you invest in players who no longer perform, we let contract expire. We do not do the same in marriage. Why? A glorious 5-year plan, mail order brides, we arrange union between shrewd single businessmen with eager young women from Eastern Europe. Take the lovely Svetlana from Siberia. This nubile 19-year-old farm girl is ready to please even the most elderly of men for rich Western lifestyle. After 5 years, her contract expires with renewal option. If she keeps icing the puck, she's out of luck, you know what I mean, huh? She don't want to go back to Siberia. It's as cold as walrus nipple. Or how about for you, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Katerina, who is former Soviet gymnast who just got released from corrective labor camp after 10-year sentence for making Russia look like toothless babushka in the 2002 Summer Olympic Games. Imagine what this little tart will do to your balance beam for a taste of Western freedom, huh? At Glorious 5-year plan, we pride ourselves on gorgeous, collectible, eligible, and desperate women. So why not call me, Boris, at 1-800-RED-WIFE for free consultation. Come, be part of the people's revolution against conventional matrimony. And remember, at Glorious 5-year plan, we might be Russian, but we don't believe in redistribution of wealth. Ah, okay.
Howdy, folks. Billy Boy's back and ready to get you mile high. Thanks for voting, all you Greenleafs, and opening the door for Amendment 64. I am excited to announce to you the grand opening of my top-shelf marijuana boutique and emporium, Commander in Leaf. At Commander in Leaf, we only procure from the choicest fields and botanical masters. From sour diesel to Maui Wowie and candies to space cakes, we have it all. All our confections are created right on site, so come seal the deal and enjoy some Billy Delights. And don't forget to check out my other products, Billy Bags and Bill Doughs, for all my discriminating constituents. I'm Bill Clinton, and I approve of these party supplies and toys.
Hey, this is Meatwad, the real star of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. You are listening to the Cranial Emission Show, live on Spreaker.com, Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Duh.
Go ahead and smoke the blunt, young G-Rock. Yeah. So fresh, so clean. When I step in the booth, they scream like all temperature cheer. Dungeon D-boy here in effect mode, like who just love it so slow motion with 3-wheel chicken cheeseburgers, ATL coasting. Say no more.
Radio Mission Show. Ben Charles, the C Squared, Caleb Crispy, the Reverend Joey T, all hanging out here at the Lion's Den here in Ybor City, Tampa, Florida. Want to be a part of the show? You can call in 813-438-6068. A couple segments will be joined by stand-up comedian Mark Vieira of Comedy Central fame. Look forward to talking to him. But guys, in the first segment we were talking about, we always start off the first segment getting into beer, doing the beer call, and so much of the show has revolved around promoting the craft beer movement. But we had an interesting discussion last week about, you know, how much is enough. Well, before we get into that, Anheuser-Busch kind of plays into this because as the craft beer industry has been evolving, Anheuser-Busch has slowly been gobbling up a bunch of these craft brews. Yeah,
they've bought quite a few of them up, and now they're going for the other big breweries. There's a deal on the table for Anheuser-Busch InBev, which I don't know if you remember what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, or maybe a little more than that. InBev,
the Dutch company, right?
Yeah, bought Anheuser-Busch, and they merged and created Anheuser-Busch InBev. They have agreed to buy rival SAB Miller, which is the I believe the South African company that owns Miller.
Is that who owns Miller now?
Yeah, they're the owner of Miller, Pilsner Urquell, Peroni, and it's
the champagne of beers.
Yeah.
You're referring to the champagne.
Yeah. What's interesting here, though, I was worried about how this was going to go down because most of your distributors here, at least locally, are either one or the other. They either distribute Miller Coors,
right,
and Yuengling and things like that, or they are Anheuser InBev.
So how's this going to work?
Well, I was just reading the article a little further here to get past the Department of Justice, which I don't know why the Department of Justice gets involved in that, but that's a whole different story. They might be forced to sell some of their assets in the U.S., which would include their stake in Miller Coors.
So this is really more of an international play than a domestic per se.
Yeah, they would still own, I guess, Miller, but they would not. I guess Miller Coors, the joint venture, Coors would have to take over the ownership. I don't know how it all works there, but
I mean, you're going to have to keep some people in place. You're not going to just buy a huge company like Miller and be like, "Oh, you're all fired. We're putting our people in here."
No. Well, they would have to just sell off that portion of the company.
Here in America.
They'd probably find a way to sell it to a subsidiary or a shell company or something
right,
like that.
Right. That's exactly what they're going to probably do.
Yeah, they'll
find
a way around it.
But they're definitely buying a bunch of upstart new. I think they're trying to kill the competition a little bit.
And it's a smart move if you think about it. And what they do when they buy a lot of these craft breweries is they really don't go out of their way to advertise it. They don't change the branding. They really just they don't meddle with it to their credit to a large degree. But it's kind of the old adage: if you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yep.
I think that's the new business plan for a lot of small breweries. They're like, okay, start a brewery, get it up and running,
and sell
accept a buyout from.
Well, what they're really buying is they're buying their drinkers.
Right.
They're buying it so they can start marketing them together. When they find one that takes off, they really start to push it, and that's why you see so many beers that used to be considered fairly craft beers that you really couldn't get everywhere have made their way everywhere.
Right.
Sweetwater, for example.
Yeah, you see them everywhere now.
Used to be, if you went to Georgia, make sure you get Sweetwater. Now it's everywhere, and it's being heavily pushed by
Fat Tire's everywhere now.
New Belgium.
Yeah, New Belgium. Yeah,
yep.
You see, they've got all kinds of beers on distribution everywhere now here in Tampa.
Yep.
And it started with Fat Tire, and now you've got a revolving variety of them coming out. You see, they're everywhere. So yeah, you get that big push behind them. But, we talked about this off air. How long till you get to the point of oversaturation? We're so caught up now. It seems that breweries are so caught up now and trying to stand out from the crowd by making these offshoot beers, these unique type of flavors. And in some ways, I think it starts to alienate the general public because I think most people just want a drinkable beer. Lord Cheese, a good listener of ours and loyal friend, talked about this all the time, how some of these craft breweries are so caught up in making these unique flavors that the one thing that they don't do is have a rotation of
a good ale,
of stock beers.
Just a decent ale. I mean, what's wrong with an ale? That's why there's a reason why we got to these points. You know who I'd like to hear do a summation on this would be Dennis Leary. If you remember his old thing about coffee.
Yeah, coffee-flavored coffee.
I just want coffee-flavored coffee. He's like, why has it got to be banana nut crunch coffee, dude? It's like, I don't want a mocha. I don't want extra espresso shot in there. Just give me some freaking coffee.
When we were talking the other day, I posed the other side of the argument, and I don't necessarily fully believe it because I agree with the statement that you guys just made. But on some point, when everybody, it's just like with coffee. When you can get the same coffee on every corner, you've got to find a way to draw those customers in.
Absolutely.
But I don't think you still shouldn't be able to make good coffee.
Right.
You
can.
You should be able to brew a nice cup of coffee, and then you can add your fun flavors and make whatever the hell you want. I think you should be able to do both. And what I have a problem with is the brewers that can't make just a quality, decent, standard beer, then go out and try to make all these other beers, and they usually fail at it. They usually taste horrible because they don't have the foundations correct. I enjoy most of these offshoot fun beers that are made by some of these quality craft breweries. You've got Stone that's always making these crazy things, and they're not always the best, but at least they've got some quality beers behind them. They can put something out, and people are go, I'll try that because it's made by somebody that I know.
Right.
When it's somebody that if you don't have any way to get people to even enjoy your beer without making it some crazy funky flavor, then I think you're doing it wrong. But I do understand that the reason they do it is because they have to gain
right,
some kind of attraction.
And you're going to